Bitcoin is showing some early signs of weakness developing at the major 28.4k resistance. Will Bitcoin correct or eventually break through this major point? Let's go ahead and jump into the video. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Bitcoin from a high time frame and short-term perspective, really focusing on the developing weakness we see at that 28k resistance. What does it mean? What are the short-term charts shaping up like, and where Bitcoin is likely to move to next? Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical and structural information, and the relevant economic news. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the third link down below. You will get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and so much more to keep you in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. If you are interested in trading, go ahead and join our VIP group. You can see over 621 members. We post trading signals with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, and exclusive analysis. You can see some massive profits over here on this Bitcoin short, some massive profits on this Ethereum short. In fact, we've done 17 trades this month. 16 wins and 1 loss. Some awesome profits in this channel for the month. You will not only get access to this VIP group, you'll also get access to our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our news chat, our trade setup chat, our video chat, and our help chat. This is by far the most detailed and well-rounded channel on Telegram to help you not only profit but make you a better trader. If you're interested in joining, contact me by the pinned comment in the free channel. We have all our information here, including our trading track record. You can see over 31 months of recorded data, 79.31% win rate. Go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead, guys, and start with the market data. How are we looking as of right now? 24-hour volume is sitting at a total of 54 billion. That is down 6.4% in the last 24 hours, with liquidations up 16.32%, sitting at a total of 62 million. As per the volatility index on the 60-day period, we can see a little bit of spike toward the downside, but more or less pushing sideways. And on the 30-day period, again, nothing too much has radically happened over here, more or less pushing sideways. Looking at those liquidations, with a total liquidation value of 62 million, pretty evenly split down the middle, with 34 million coming from long positions and 28 coming from shorts, as Bitcoin did see a pretty nice correction from this range high point all the way down to retest that range low, again confirming the fact that we are consolidating now in a nice horizontal range. We'll be discussing this in today's video when we get up to our short-term analysis. Moving on from the market data, let's go ahead and take a look at the DXY. The DXY has actually pushed back upwards. On the short term, we have broken back up from this short-term downward diagonal resistance. Again, we've just opened up this candle green, closing a daily candle above that downtrending resistance. It does look as though the DXY does want to continue higher. If we're pushing higher, we are still looking for this green box, which is going to be 107-ish, so 107.8, round about to 108.4, this area of resistance marking this range low point. We had support over here, we had support over here, and we came down, rejecting and retesting that point before continuing into a high time frame downtrend. So we're looking for a retest of that high, and that is sitting between that 107.8 to 108.4 area. Again, if the DXY continues upwards, this could add some negative pressure to the broader markets and subsequently to Bitcoin as well. So we're definitely watching out for that. Okay, so moving over to the broader markets, let's take a look at the S&P. The S&P 500 on the daily has just shown its head underneath that major year-long uptrending support line. Again, this is a rising channel formation. We do have our valid retests of 1, of 2, of 3, of 4, of 5. We do have a 5-point channel, which is a valid rising channel. We of course have this overall downtrend moving into support. We are seeing momentum is still falling. We are very likely to break down if the DXY continues upwards. Again, for that breakdown to be validated, we do need to see a weekly close below The current weekly candle will be closing in 1 day and 22 hours. If we do see that weekly candle close below, that will confirm a breakdown. Our next target for the S&P is going to be down at around 4,200, which is reflected by this green box. So quite a big drop there if we do see that close below. Moving over to the Dow Jones, again, we failed to really push higher. We rejected from that 50 MA. We failed to get over that trigger point, and we are now seeing that rejection and downplay in play, moving back down to 33,000 as the short-term target. Again, for the bulls to retake control on this, we do need to break back above that 50 and that bullish trigger to push the price back upwards. Until then, we are expecting this downtrend to continue as we created a lower high point, a lower high, a lower high. Again, a nice downtrend developing. Let's go ahead, guys, and jump over to Bitcoin. I wanted to briefly interrupt today's video to discuss the two exchanges we use on this channel, Bitget and BingX. So which exchange should you sign up to? If you look to the right hand side of the screen, you're going to see the list of differences in relation to KYC requirements and the countries these exchanges offer services to. The first link down below being the Bitget link, and the second link down below being the BingX link. No matter which link you sign up to, you're going to get up to 15% discounts on your trading fees, up to $5,000 in trading rewards, and of course, you'll get access to every single MegaWhale exclusive bonus campaign we run on these exchanges. Alongside that, Bitget and BingX are incredibly similar. They are both ranked top 10 in terms of trading volume. They both have extensive liquidity pools and market pairs offering up to 125x leverage. And most importantly, they both offer protection funds for their users to protect you against any third-party hacks. So get started now and support the channel by clicking the links below. Thanks for listening. So starting on Bitcoin's high time frame chart, we've seen a lot of volatility and we've seen a lot of crazy price action in the last week. And anyone who's been around in crypto would have been paying attention to just how absurd the last week truly has been for the space, right? We saw fake ETF news, we saw surges in volume, we saw hundreds of millions of dollars in liquidations, and we just saw an explosive break up from that major 28.4K level. But if we eliminate emotion, if we eliminate what happened and we focus on what the charts are suggesting and what the result of those breakouts were, the facts of the charts remain, and that is we are still at resistance, even with that news. By far and large, it was fake. We have to remember that it was fake. Even with that news and our surge in volume, Bitcoin is still at resistance. And as you know, guys, resistance is resistance until it is not. And it is not about being right. It's not about being correct. It's about making money, guys. It's about profiting from the market, walking away with money. I don't care if I'm wrong. I look at my trades. I've done 17 trades this month. I've won 16. I'm up over $150,000 in profits this month. I couldn't care less if I'm wrong. I don't care. What I care about is making profit. You need to focus on the rules of which that facilitate that profit making. One of my rules is when we're at resistance and we see weakness, that is when I'm looking to scale out of longs and move into shorts. It's exactly what we did in VIP. If you look at our trades in VIP in the last 24 hours alone, you can see we took a short on Bitcoin right over here, making a hefty 59% profit, and we took a short on Ethereum right over here, again, making a hefty 51% profit. So resistance is resistance until it is not. Start drilling that into your mind. So right now, the 28.4 to 28K level is still acting as that midline of resistance for the current higher time frame horizontal channel formation Bitcoin has been moving in for the last 6 or so months. If we draw these trend lines out, the range high and the range low, we can see this, of course, is that higher range. If we go ahead and apply the lower levels to this range, which is going to be 31.3 to 25.2, you can see that midline matches that same point. So we do have this overall channel developing. We have, of course, our higher areas of liquidity, our lower area of liquidity, and the bullish / bearish trigger point in the middle. The price will range between. When it breaks upwards, it continues through. Of course, this is a rejection. It continues down, etc., etc. The same pattern we have seen playing out on the broader scale for a very long time. We can see even this pattern plays out on smaller time frames, for example, right over here on the 15-minute chart. We'll come back to that in a second. So right now, guys, we are at resistance. What are we seeing? Okay, we're seeing a bearish divergence. So what is that telling us? It tells us we have falling momentum, right? We have falling momentum at resistance, while the price is moving upwards. So it tells us we have overall exhaustion. If we look at momentum and we say, well, what is momentum? It is velocity, okay? It is liquidity, it is volume. It tells us the strength of a shift in strength of buyers and sellers any period of time. So it tells us right now we have overall exhaustion, right? We're seeing weakness develop in the price action. And we're seeing a discrepancy between what the price is doing and, of course, what the metrics are suggesting. So again, we have overall exhaustion at resistance. The probabilities for a rejection are higher than the probabilities for a breakout. And I'll say it again, that is the most important thing about this video. The probabilities of a rejection is greater than the probabilities of a breakout. Now, the big question is, how low could the rejection go before we eventually see the breakout? But the breakout is potential, could potentially happen, but the statement is the rejection is likely to occur first, okay? And a rejection doesn't mean we're coming all the way down over here. A rejection could be a rejection down to 27.5, could be even a rejection down to 27.9. The facts remain, a 28.4k rejection was more likely than a breakout, and that is what we're seeing develop. So on a higher time frame, let's go ahead and really zoom out again. While we remain underneath 28.4 to 28k, we are still in this bearish territory. This is still an overall downtrend. This is the bearish range of the horizontal range. This, of course, is the bullish range of the horizontal range, meaning above the 28.4k level, we're in an overall weekly uptrend. Below the 28.4k level, we're in a weekly downtrend. So weekly downtrend, weekly uptrend. Okay? Keep it very simple, guys. Keep it stupid, keep it simple. We do not need to overcomplicate our trends. We do not definitely need to overcomplicate our ranges. So while we're in a downtrend, the probabilities of a downtrend to continue is greater than the probabilities of uptrend. While we're in an uptrend, the probabilities of continuation is greater than the probabilities of a reversal to a downtrend. So keep it nice and simple. So while we remain under or at this level, we have to identify we do have a potential to come all the way back down to this level. Is it likely that we come all the way down to this level? As of right now, where we are sitting, it is hard to say for sure. All we can say right now is resistance is a resistance, and a probability of a rejection is likely. We'll have to go down to a smaller time frame to talk about, potential targets of that rejection. But as of right now, you have to understand while we are at resistance, like over here, we could still see a pullback towards this level, and that is by all means still a real possibility, okay? We're not eliminating that off the possible list of possibilities. It is still there. It is still a real possibility. That move, this correction downwards, becomes incredibly unlikely the moment Bitcoin gets and closes and starts showing strength above 28.6. 641, okay? 28.641 is going to be that bullish trigger, okay? Which is going to be represented by the Gaussian channel upper band. That is that key point we need to really show strength above to continue upwards for Bitcoin and eradicate the possibility of a high time frame correction. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit more and discuss, on a higher time frame what is happening. So zooming out even further from here, let's zoom out and take a look. This is our high time frame range. Obviously, we know we have a horizontal range developing right over here. We can say for sure if we break down from 24.4, which is the low of this range, we're going to see a high time frame correction downwards. And if we break above 32, which is the high area of this range, we're going to see a rally upwards. Keep it simple, guys. Again, when resistance breaks, provided we have strength, we are likely to continue upwards. When support breaks, provided we have weakness, we are likely to continue downwards. Again, it's a game of probabilities. So keep that in mind when we're looking for these high time frame ranges, because that is what we're focusing on looking at. If we look at the weekly chart from a technical perspective, guys, we can see even with that crazy move upwards, we still haven't ticked off everything we need to flip the weekly trend bullish, right? We're seeing a few of those things tick off, but we haven't seen them all. We saw the 50 EMA tick. We saw the bull market support band tick. But the most important one, okay, so much more important than those two, okay, is the Gaussian channel upper band. That is sitting at 26.41 as of right now, okay, 28.641, sorry, as of right now. This is the most important level we need to break above. If we break above this level, as we've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, that is when the bullish weekly strength will return and the price is likely to move back up to retest this range high at around 31,000. Until that happens, resistance is resistance, okay? I'll be the first one to say if we break over this level, we're going up to at least 30,700, okay? But until then, we are underneath this level. This area is resistance. We are likely to continue lower. Moving over to the monthly, guys. Furthermore, if we want to see a macro continuation upwards, we do need to break above 32k. If we break above 32,000, guys, we are continuing up to 49,000, 48,000, 49,000, okay? If we, however, lose that 50 EMA, which is sitting around 25.2, like I said, 25.2 being the range low support over here, we are likely to break through it and continue down, as then we would have weakness at support on a monthly time frame. Very bad, okay? So, with all of that being said, with all that context being applied, let's go ahead now and discuss the short term and discuss what is happening, because for the price to move on the high time frame and break up and break down, we need to see what's happening on the short term. And this short term range we're watching right now is going to be incredibly important at determining where Bitcoin goes next, because we do have that weekly candle closing in 1 day and 22 hours. And if you have noticed, the range high for this range is sitting above that 28.641 level. The 28.641, I'm going to go ahead and mark it out, is the Gaussian channel upper band, this red line, and the range high of this current horizontal or parallel channel is going to be 28.73. Meaning if we are able to break back above this level and close a weekly candle above, we will have actually broken above the Gaussian channel upper band, and we will likely continue upwards all the way, potentially to retest this untapped liquidity at, like I said, 30,700, which is going to be this high point around over here. Until then, again, we are in a horizontal channel. The probabilities of a breakdown from here are around equal to the probabilities of a breakout. A horizontal channel is a neutral pattern. When we see rejections from high points, when we see deviation, okay, from high points of weakness, the probabilities of a pullback towards a range low is incredibly high, which we saw and we shorted that, okay? But the probability is now for a continuation through this support level lower is a little bit 50-50. It's more 50-50. However, we can identify these levels. If we do see a breakdown from this point, we do expect a continuation down to retest this area, this 27.7 to 27.6 area of liquidity, which is going to be this gap in the VRPV, okay? So we do see a breakdown over here. We can expect that correction down into this range. Right now, we are seeing some exhaustion develop, some short-term resistances play out over here. If we are able to get back above that midline, which is 28.45, we could see a continuation back up to retest this Gaussian channel upper band or retest the range high. Again, if we break back above the range high, that will be validation. Now we are going to see that continuation upwards for Bitcoin. Keep it simple, guys. Look at your horizontal ranges. You shouldn't be really focusing on diagonals right now. Look at those horizontal levels and really determine where the liquidity is, where is the liquidity, and where are those trigger points. If we go over to an hour chart and bring up our RSI, we can see over here we did have, should I say, a pretty strong bearish divergence, right? We had this trend line over here going down. This is going to be our bearish divergence. Now, if I go ahead and take this trend line and just make it a little easier to see, and we drag this trend line across that divergence, so applying it to that high, dragging it across, we can see this is now actually acting as a potential trigger point for Bitcoin, meaning if the RSI is able to break back above this trend line, that could give Bitcoin the strength it needs to retest that range high. So we're definitely watching out for that. However, we are seeing some consolidation around this 50 EMA at the lower base of support. If we do break down, we are very likely to continue back lower. So if you do see that breakdown, real short term over here, let's go back to the 30. If you do see that breakdown and you're not already in shorts, what I personally would be doing, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons over here. 1 second. What I would personally be doing would be looking at this high, okay? I'd be looking at this local range developing. I'll go ahead and draw in a resistance over here, this range over here. I would say if we do get that breakdown, I'd look for a new short with a stop loss above that level, something around about like that for an entry. Again, if we do break back above that level, we are looking for a continuation upwards. So unless you're already in shorts from up over here, I wouldn't be entering new shorts. I would be either taking profits, which you should have done down at the range low, moving your stop losses, adjusting your risk, waiting for a continuation lower, or of course, getting ready to scale out if we do see that breakout and continuation upwards, and flip into longs if we break above that level for a potential impulse upwards all the way to 30,000. So I'm going to leave the video there. If you've got any questions, let me know below. Thank you for watching, and of course, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.